It's April. Hello spring. I've got snow dropping in my coffee. It must be spring. This is April weather, April Vader, as they say. Plan for today is to make more bird feeders because we've been getting loads of new visitors, and we've made this bird bath from an old stove. We found this in the barn. It's pretty cool, but I'm not sure we can repurpose it in any other way at the moment. Maybe next winter as an outdoor stove. Today I'm using coconut fat. This will be the binder that's going to hold all the nuts and seeds together in whatever mould I'm using. There's a little bit of discussion about whether or not you should use plant-based vegetable oils or not for wild birds. The argument seems to be around the saturated fat levels. So lard is about 40% saturated fats, whereas this is over 85%. So it definitely has the saturated fats that the birds need in tough weather conditions. So the other argument might be about what's most natural. That around here the chances of a blue tit foraging beef lard is probably the same chance of them foraging a coconut. So we're going with the coconut fat. I'm going to put this in the metal bowl on the fire. While we wait for the coconut oil to melt, which is the fat which is going to bind all of the seeds and nuts together, I'm going to weave some of these branches into little wreaths to hold some of the bird feed. These were not covered in snow when I gathered these up yesterday, but what I'm going to do is just gently bend. It's a bit like when you have willow, you need to gently prime it. These are quite dry, prone to snapping. There's still a little bit given there. So I'm just going to start to weave this. It's quite sturdy. It's not too bad. This is much easier. Much softer, more malleable, less snappy. You could probably shape some of these into a sort of thread like I'm using. So you could probably put one of your moulds over these twigs and this would be your holder. I'm going to use some of these as branches that the birds can use to stand on. So these, for example, I'm just going to keep like this for them to perch on. This is a nice one. So I'll probably just string some of the jute that we have. Again on here. These are just nice little perches for the birds to use. And then I've also got these cones. So we can either stuff these with peanut butter or similar, or you can try and stuff some of the fat and seed mixture into these as well. Willow is perfect for weaving these kind of things. It's definitely something that we want to grow on the property. We just need to find someone with willow that we can take cuttings from, or we need to find a supplier of the willow themselves. Done. I'm going for a ratio of about 1:1. So this was 500 grams of coconut oil, so I'm going to go for 500 grams of seeds. I've got a nice mix here, wild bird seeds. I think it's sunflower, hemp, peanuts. So this is a kilogram bag. I'm going to do roughly half by pinching it in the middle. This is quite a high fat to seed ratio, but that's because I really want these to stick in the mould. If you don't use a lot, it might be a little crumbly, the mixture. Although it is nice and cold here, so I am tempted to add a little more seed to the mix. These are the 3 moulds that I'm going to be using. This is for soap. It's not flexible, it's going to probably be a bit of a pain to get out, but we'll see. A bowl, because I want to make like a wreath, so I'm going to put a stick in the middle here to make a nice ring. And these are bath bomb moulds that I have, and I will attempt to make fat balls on the string. The birds are really enjoying the fresh apples I've been hanging from the trees. So I'm using, this is a tatty peeler. It's never peeled a tatty in this house to my knowledge. I use this for cleaning out the candle holders. I'm going to use this like a corner to take some little sections out to decorate the front of the wreaths. This is purely for my enjoyment. I don't think the birds care too much, but they'll enjoy the little pieces of apple at least in the seed mix. I'm going to place these little sections around the front of this mould. I'm just going to pour the seed mixture over this now and hope that they stay upright. Could maybe use a spoon to be a bit more accurate. And this is going to actually take out most of the coconut oil, so change of plan. Let's use a stick. And to keep a hole in the central part, it's going to embed this while it sets, and hopefully this will pop out in a perfect circle. We'll see. Top this up with some more apple sections for them. Try using my bath bomb mold as a cup. So to fill the little woven branch, that's everything poured into the mould, so we just need to wait on the fat to set. The coconut oil won't take long, it's about 2 degrees out here. I'm going to leave them on a table and some stumps of wood to dry, well, dry to set, and then we can start assembling the feeders. I almost forgot about our red squirrel friend. We made a really rough and quick squirrel feeder. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's functional. So this is our squirrel feeder. We're hoping the red squirrel will come along and start using this, because I love to get some footage of a red squirrel. Where I'm from, they're seriously endangered and are quite a rare sight. So it takes just over 1 kilogram to not even fill this.
Not bad, huh? For a broken scythe blade. It's pretty much the same though, it's just like the other half of a draw knife.
Unbelievably, we actually struggled to find a draw knife here. I think they're called bandkniv, or what was the other? Dragkniv. So I asked some local people where you buy your woodworking tools here in Sweden, and all the newly made ones, like most things like in life now, they're just not made to the same quality. There's a lot of plastic, a lot of handles coming off, and so we tried to basically find an antique used one, but then one of the guys said just find an old scythe and use the blade, and it's great. We do actually have 2 old scythes in the barn. We're still on the lookout for a nice antique draw knife. I just don't think they make them like that anymore with, you know, they're really made to last. But there's a site called Tradera, and there you can find a lot of really beautiful antique tools, which we need a lot of. The other thing we're on the lookout for is a plane, a nice old wood plane. Yeah, an old carpenter's plane. Again, they're all plastic now. Snappy. But this has done a good job.
Can't afford it.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's the other thing. Of course, we could pay like 10,000 SEK or 20,000, but that's not an option. But this has done a good job.
No, not bad, huh?
Oh, it's beautiful. It smells so good.
Yeah.
We're still not chopping down all the trees. Collected some nice fire starting material. I'm heading back now to check on the moulds. It won't take long. This is definitely set. You can see the colour change. And the best thing about the coconut oil is because it has a low melting temperature. It means you can just warm it in your hands, and in theory this should pop out perfectly. So you can see I've used so much oil it's covered the lovely red apple feature that I was hoping for, but I'd rather there was too much fat than too little for them just to crumble apart. So I'm just going to gently warm this as much as I can with my cold hands in this cold outdoors. But this stick's really going to help, because I can grab this, gently rotate for the big reveal. Now. Lovely. That's exactly what I was looking for. If these were... They'll get picked away. Give it a minute. Should keep these in as parches actually. Yeah, I might keep that one on. So, these are my little heart soap molds. It's come out really nice. Seems quite solid as well. Nice and easy. This definitely needs warmed a little. It's about as challenging as making bath bombs. Now we've got everything set out the mould, everything worked out really well. I've got the apples, some extra seed, some extra little perches for the birds. It's time to assemble these into some sort of feeder that the birds can use. I just hang these from the trees. The first thing I'm going to do is attach one of, I think, the apples. So what I'll do is I'll cut it in half first. It's much easier to deal with. And maybe one more. These will hold for about a day. As soon as they start pecking at them, they soon fall to the ground. But some of the birds prefer this ground foraging. I think they feel safer. So it's not a problem. So I've made a sort of cage which is going to contain it. And I'm going to attach this I hope you can hear the bird song. It's really sweet. You can hear them in the trees next to me. So this is my first little piece. From there I'm going to thread one of the apple halves. It's quite easy to do with a skewer. You can make a path for twine. And I find if you just twist in the direction of the original way the twine is twisted, this can quite easily be fed all the way through. Now I normally like to add a little branch at the bottom. Not only does it keep this at a certain level, it gives the birds something to perch on. Right, I need my coffee. So, where were we? Here, with the apple. Just tying this at the bottom, at the base of the apple, so I can slide this down, like so. And I think this would be a good continuation from this part. So these are the finished bird feeders. A little messy, but my hands are absolutely freezing cold. And the aesthetics were purely for my own enjoyment. So now we just need to get these back up into the trees next to our windows for the birds to enjoy